Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Engine Builder Show. I want to ask you another question. Are you losing your mind trying to solve complex business problems? Well, maybe Gabe can help you with that. If you want to know, stick around. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and enjoy the show. Good morning, everybody.
There was always a ton to learn. Good morning, everyone. May the 4th be with you. I'm a fairly big Star Wars fan, so May 4th is always fun because it reminds me of Star Wars. And it also reminds me of something that my mother-in-law says to me. She's like, you just have those Jedi mind tricks and you can get people to do whatever you want them to do, which is not always true. But it's something that always makes me laugh because when I do go into a situation, I'm pre-thought, what results do I want to get? What outcomes do I need? What potential barriers am I going to encounter? And how can I map a path that's going to be the best win-win for everybody involved and is going to, get good results for, where I want to go. And part of being an entrepreneur and being a leader and being someone that wants to make an impact in the world is you end up encountering problems, and problems are good. Problems are what we do for a living if we're entrepreneurs. And so never allow the consistency or magnitude of the problems you're facing to discourage you, because it's really just part of your journey and part of the process. And just like Jethro said, we're going to talk about how to solve complex problems in your business without losing your mind. And there's a process that I've used hundreds, probably thousands of times at this point when I run into something difficult and I'm not sure what to do. And kind of to describe how I feel and how you may feel when you're going through something like this is when I first hit a roadblock or a problem. For me, that's incredibly crushing. Like, it's really discouraging to hit a big problem because I have already clearly in my mind envisioned what the big result is that I want, the dream that I have for this project, for the business, for whatever I'm working on. And I can see it clearly. I know what the outcome I want. I can taste it, feel it, experience it in my imagination. It's so real to me. And so when I encounter a problem or a challenge or a big roadblock, like when that happens, there is a period, and sometimes it's short for a couple of minutes. Sometimes I avoid it, but often it's there for a few minutes, or sometimes it's there for a day or two, which is really uncomfortable. It's really difficult. And so what I do to begin with is I just sit with that discomfort, with that pain, with that anxiety, whatever's coming up for me, I'll just sit with it and realize that when I'm feeling discomfort and pain, it's really just an indicator that it's an opportunity that I can take action and change. Anxiety and pain and a lot of times, like some of the entrepreneurial depression that we feel and just a lot of things like that come up it's simply trapped energy. And so when we sit with it and kind of observe why are we feeling that way, it allows us to go, oh, like I started feeling this way after I hit a roadblock on a project, or I started feeling this way when, revenue isn't where I wanted it to be. I started feeling this way after I had this meeting with someone who it really wasn't a very positive interaction. And so I'm feeling this discomfort and pain. So when we take time to reflect on what happened, then we can take action and make changes. In solving the complex problems that we run into, again, as part of our job as leaders, it's part of our job as being entrepreneurs, and it's something that we need to do effectively in order to move our team forward. And so the first thing that I would encourage you to do is, just be present with yourself, like I said, and be aware of how you're feeling and what caused those feelings, instead of watching another, YouTube video, to avoid that discomfort, or doing busy work or checking your email or getting on, social media. Those things just distract us from the discomfort. It's really important to just be present with our discomfort. After we do that and we identify where is that discomfort or that problem coming from, then what I recommend and what I often do, and this is one of the most successful paths that I take, is take that big problem and chunk it down into something solvable. As an example, last week, I got a report from one of my team members that I had asked for, and the work that this team member had done was excellent. There was nothing wrong with their work, but it wasn't the outcome that I was looking for. And I realized that the problem that I had created for this team member was I had overcomplicated the report that I needed. And so I met with them yesterday, and we chunked it down into 3 or 4 pieces that are really simple. One piece they'll be able to deliver very quickly. The next piece I think is going to be a little bit more challenging because it has some interaction with other team members. The third piece is even more complex because I'm not even 100% sure how to cut up the data to get the report I want. And then there was a fourth version that was just like a wish list. If I could have that, it would be great. But instead of grouping everything together and saying, I need all this data right now, I chunked it into 3 to 4 pieces and made pieces of it really easy to deliver and other pieces, those chunks that we could deliver later. And so when you're facing a problem, one of the easiest and most effective things you can do is just break it down into smaller chunks and solve the things that you know how to solve, because that will give you momentum to, move into solving the things that you don't know how to solve. You'll have a springboard, you'll have a foundation for that. The second thing is being really clear. This is for yourself, or if you're working with other team members, even if it's just you are a team of one right now, this is still super useful. And it's a good habit to get into when you have a larger team that you'll be able to delegate to. So the next step is to describe clearly the results that you want at the end of the project, or, the process that you're building. If you document that, have a conversation, write it down, take time to really clarify the vision of the result that you want, it'll help you solve the problems more effectively for your team members and those supporting you, and even just you, to think more clearly, chunk things down correctly, and get better results. And then the next thing that I do is I create a realistic plan with consistent check-in points so that I can give accountability and feedback. Less on the accountability side and more on the feedback side, because my expectation with anybody that's on my team and anybody that I work with is that if they take on a project, they're self-motivated and they're going to handle it and they're going to get it done. But more so, as an example, with this report that I'm building, it's really going to drive, business intelligence. It's going to tell us exactly how profitable we are on each project. And so I want to provide guidance and coaching and support to the team member who's building it. And that way, I'll be able to say, yep, this looks great. Or, don't spend too much time on this area. This is really the focus that I need next. I'll be able to just coach and give input. A friend of mine said to me one time, he said, as entrepreneurs, sometimes we want to jump in and do the work and dive in and do everything ourselves. But when we have a team around us, if you're at that stage of business, it's our job to coach. And coaches don't, throw their hat off, pull on a jersey, and run onto the field to play with the team when it's not going well. They coach the team and give them guidance and help them learn from their mistakes and celebrate their successes. And they're able to really make a big, positive difference through coaching. And so, again, if you take this process, it's going to allow you to really be successful in how you show up and approach things. And again, the first thing is just sit with the discomfort or pain or feel at first, and just really be present with it and realize it's okay. You're going to be able to process through this and take time to determine where is that coming from. The next thing is chunk down the problems you're trying to solve, break them into small enough pieces that it's easy to accomplish the small pieces. Because if you can, the old saying always comes to mind, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. It really is true in business. It's really part of the process. And so make sure these big grand problems or goals or things you're trying to solve that you chunk down into reasonable pieces. The next thing is describing clearly the result that you want. That will help you be clear about your vision. And sometimes we think we have a clear vision in our head, but until we try to explain it to somebody, we don't realize that we don't have a lot of pieces filled in. So taking time to really talk it out is one option. Writing it all down, documenting it, however you get clear, is a step that's really going to help you be successful. And then the last step is, create a realistic plan for implementation for solving the problem with consistent check-in points. So you can give feedback and guidance and coaching, because that way you'll be able to support the team members that you're supporting. And also when you're working with clients or you're working with more, multiple people that are involved in a project, when you come together and discuss what's going on, you're able to together as a team move forward and get results. And so those are the ways that I solve the big problems, the complex problems that come my way in business. I hope that's useful to you, and I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's show.